Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. An unexpected bit of news that broke earlier today. Chantelle Cameron has vacated her WBC interim title in support of equality in women's boxing.
Oh, is that what it is? If I didn't know better, I'd swear she were trying to get out of a fight with Sandy Ryan.
Most Valuable Promotions has officially announced this morning the women's WBC interim super lightweight world champion Chantelle Cameron has opted to vacate her title in order to show her commitment to advancing equality in women's boxing, specifically as it pertains to women fighting under the same rules as men, which includes 3-minute rounds for title fights. Women's boxing has come a long way, but there's still progress to be made, said Chantelle. I've always believed in equality, and that includes the choice to fight equal rounds, equal opportunities, and equal respect. I'm proud of my accomplishment and becoming a WBC champion, but it's time to take a stand for what's right and for the future of the sport.
Oh, why didn't she decide to take a stand in her last fight with Jessica Camara?
Chantelle has already made her MVP debut, you understand. She already debuted under the banner and already defended the WBC interim title for 10-2s. So why is it now so important that she fight for 3-minute rounds? Cameron, 21-1 with 8 knockouts, is most recently coming off of a unanimous decision win over Jessica Camara in July and is said by her promoters to still be pursuing championship opportunities while she remains the choice to fight in 3-minute contests and is expected to make her return early in the coming year. I don't understand. If she's such a big advocate of fighting for 3-minute rounds, you could have fought Sandy Ryan for 3-minute rounds. I don't think Sandy would have had a problem with that. Sandy, who said, I got emailed a world title 2 weeks ago without throwing a punch, and now she's returned it unopened with the tags on because she didn't want to fight me. Zero respect shown to the World Boxing Council. I gotta call it how I see it. Whether I like Chantelle Cameron or not, or have been a fan of her or not, it's a duck, folks. It's an according to Hoya duck, because if she were such a big advocate for 3-minute rounds, why were you okay to defend the title against Jessica Camara for 10-2s, then all of a sudden now vacate it over 12-3s?
Well, it's because now she's under orders to fight Sandy Ryan. That's what changed. That's what's different. To keep that interim title, she would have had to fight Sandy, and she's never fancied a fight with Sandy. Not back then, when they were both with Matchroom, and not here and now that she's with MVP. Dropping this belt has nothing to do with advocating for 3-minute rounds. It has everything to do with avoiding Sandy.
But isn't she doing the same thing that Amanda Serrano did when she dropped the WBC title?
No, because I don't think Amanda Serrano is afraid of Sky Nicholson. I don't think Amanda ever had anything to be afraid of in Sky Nicholson, whereas Chantelle, I think she is afraid of Sandy Ryan. For me, that's what it all boils down to. You can liken one situation to the other if you want to, but I don't think for a second Amanda's afraid of a light-punching economic mover in Sky Nicholson. Sky is actually tailor-made for Amanda.
Sandy Ryan, however, is not tailor-made for Chantelle Cameron. For Chantelle Cameron, that is very much a dangerous fight, a high-risk, low-reward fight. So as stated, you can liken one situation to the other if you want to, but I think it would be willfully dishonest.
The timing of this announcement is no coincidence. This comes to us at a time where she's on the hook to fight Sandy Ryan, and the deadline was today.
Reach a deal or it goes to a purse bid. Now, because Chantelle Cameron doesn't want this fight, and because MVP don't want to have to pay for it, she dropped the belt. Unbeknownst to most, Sandy Ryan is currently a free agent. She's not with Matchroom anymore, so the fight between them would have been relatively easy to make. Chantelle is all of a sudden piping up about 3-minute rounds because she knows the World Boxing Council won't sanction a women's boxing match for 3-minute rounds, so she can use that as a crutch to get out of this, and that's all it is.
In doing so, she sacrifices her direct shot at Katie Taylor, who still is WBC champion.
She's still undisputed at 140 pounds, but that's how much Chantelle doesn't want to fight Sandy. You gave up your title shot. Even if she felt like she wasn't going to get that third fight with Katie, hanging on to the interim would have still secured her the full title. Upon Katie's retirement, if she drops the belt, it would have gone to Chantelle.
Not anymore.
Now I wonder what happens with Sandy Ryan. who's reported to be a network and promotional free agent with an interim title now on the cusp of world title honors. She lost her WBO title 2 fights ago, but she's on the cusp of fighting for another one. So on that predication, will Matchroom re-sign her, or will MVP pick her up and make the situation that much more awkward?
I don't know, those are bad optics. MVP are the biggest advocates for 3-minute rounds in a women's boxing match. Publicly at odds with the World Boxing Council, so why would they want to pick up their interim champion? I'm not sure what happens now. Many twists and turns.
I think Ryan has been fed a lot of nonsense, a lot of lies, from who I don't know. But, I believe that what I've done for Ryan's career, I mean, there's no argument that I've done my very best. You can ask any fighter how Oscar treats you, And just like any fan out in the street, if you ask them, how was Oscar? How did he treat you? Oh my gosh, he was nice. Oh my gosh, he gave us time and autographs and pictures. It's mind-boggling to me how many whispers are out there in fighters' ears, and then the fighters are convinced that I'm against them. It's mind-boggling. But if you think about it, it's only been Ryan and Canelo, and I don't know why only those two guys. Maybe because they're the most popular ones out there. But I don't know if they're jealous. I don't know if there's they're envious of me, or I don't know. But all I've done for them is good things for their career.
There goes Oscar telling his edited version of the story. It's not only Ryan and Canelo that have had issues with Oscar. Senicia Estrada, upon leaving Golden Boy for Top Rank, she had issues with Oscar. That's why she left.
She's vocal about it. Jaime Munguia, who was not so vocal about it, he ended up leaving too. If Oscar is as great as he claims, as gracious, as attentive as he says, why did Senicia and Jaime leave?
I just don't think it's exactly the way that Oscar de la Hoya says it is. At the same time, because we're talking about Ryan specifically,
one of the most problematic fighters of the last 5 or 6 years, Oscar might have his role to play in this, but so does Ryan. And so does Lupe Valencia, Ryan's attorney and manager. When Oscar talks about someone going in Ryan's ear, I'd wager he's talking about Lupe. Oscar has his faults. He has his drawbacks. But so does Ryan. We can't shift all the blame over to Oscar for the instability that we see with Ryan. Ryan's wanted to get away from Golden Boy for as long as I can remember.
For many years now.
Some feuds that played out publicly. Remember that Ryan thought he had found a loophole to terminate his contract with Golden Boy? That was not the case. Remember when Ryan thought that he could take on an exhibition match in the Far East without Golden Boy Promotions' blessing? That was not the case. The one with Rikuya Enpo that ended up not happening. I remember that Oscar said quite publicly he didn't approve of it, and until he does, no fight. Coincidentally, nothing happened. There was no fight. Now, the latest rumor suggests that Ryan Garcia only has one fight remaining on his existing Golden Boy Promotions deal, an industry rumor that Oscar has dispelled.
Fight multi-year deal with Golden Boy left, and I'm for certain that he will honor it, and we will honor it as well, and we will continue doing the best job we can for his career.
And I would imagine that you're optimistic that the relationship between you and him gets better too.
I hope so. I wouldn't mind sitting down with Ryan and just shooting the breeze, and getting some facts straight, because I don't know, it's just odd. It's just odd how with Ryan Garcia you keep hearing all these rumors, but yet I haven't had any communication with him.
Another stellar interview from Marcos Villegas where A lot of questions were answered.
Ryan is not on the eve of becoming a network and promotional free agent. He's still tied to Oscar for the foreseeable future. But what is that future going to look like when Ryan doesn't want to be there?
One situation that Golden Boy Promotions can put Ryan Garcia in is a Rolly-Romero rematch. Remember that Rolly is under orders to satisfy his mandatory Shakram Giasov, and in doing so, he's out of the running for a Pacquiao fight. Except that I don't think he's going to fight Shakram Giasov. I think he's going to drop the WBA title, and when he does, well, he's definitely out of the running for a Pacquiao fight. Whole point of fighting Pacquiao was giving Manny a chance to fight for a belt. If you don't have one,
Fuck's he need from you?
at which point he can then run it back with Ryan, since that would be the biggest fight for the both of them, the fight that pays the best, the rematch between them.
This one fight that Golden Boy Promotions can put together, Garcia versus Romero 2. There is also a fight between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios.
Still is WBC champion coming off that draw with Manny Pacquiao. There's been no word, no talk about a second fight, about Manny running it back with Mario. So right now, Mario is free with nothing to do. I don't think he'd have a problem fighting Ryan. I don't think the World Boxing Council would have a problem with it.
Isn't Ryan coming off a loss?
Yeah, but wasn't Manny when they gave him a shot at the title? He was coming off the loss to Ugas when he fought Mario. They won't have a problem with it. If Ryan wants to do it, and Mario wants to do it, the World Boxing Council will not stand in the way. That's yet another fight they can make for Ryan in the welterweight division, a Barrios fight. What the foreseeable future for Ryan Garcia might look like, because he's still with Golden Boy Promotions. He might want to jump ship. He might want to leave, but I don't think he's at liberty to do so. When Oscar says that he's still on the hook, I believe him.
Why do you think Ryan wants to get away from Oscar so bad?
Money. It's usually about money when fighters are at odds with their promoter, and what I've seen Ryan Garcia complain about in the past has had to do with money. He likely figures, I'm a big enough celebrity that I can go into business for myself. I don't need Golden Boy Promotions anymore. They're just the middleman now, another hand in the cookie jar, and I want to go into business for myself. That's what he's telling himself. That's why I think he wants to leave Golden Boy. He thinks he can make more money on his own. That doesn't mean he's right, but that's what he thinks.
That's why he wants to leave.
Though Golden Boy Promotions has more stability right now than, say, the PBC, that barely have any fight dates and can barely put any fights together. They have more stability than Top Rank, that still has yet to announce a new broadcast partner. Ryan wants to jump ship, but to swim to whose shores?
Kids are stupid, man. Free agency is not all it's cracked up to be, and even free agents need someone to promote their fights, to do the grunt work, the leg work, to put it all together.
Kids are fucking stupid, man.
Dumb.
But he's still with Golden Boy Promotions for the foreseeable future, and as stated, the fights I see them making for Ryan, either a Rolly Romero fight or a Mario Barrios fight. That's what they might do. In men's heavyweight news, he's just a man. Fabio Wardley is confident that he can beat Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, he's not wrong. Usyk is just a man, but Usyk can say the same thing about Fabio Wardley. He's just a man.
With Fabio Wardley coming off of the biggest win of his career this past Saturday over Joseph Parker, a shot at undisputed world heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk could loom for the coming calendar year. Wardley told Sky Sports he hopes the fight will happen and believes that Usyk will stand as a man of his word. It's very simple. I hope he's a man of his word and it comes off, that we get the fight. I know it was mandated by the WBO, Wardley said. I don't know him or his team, at least came out not too long ago to say they were keeping an eye on the fight and they were happy to take on the corner. I believe him to be a man of his word as well, so hopefully in 2026 we see Usyk. Wardley, 20-0 with 1 draw and 19 knockouts, also expressed no disrespect for Usyk or his role as the favorite in the potential matchup, but says he simply believes in himself and his own ability.
Now that sort of confidence goes against logic, but to do what a Fabio Wardley has done, that's what you have to do. Defy logic. Conventional wisdom dictated that Joseph Parker should have beat Fabio Wardley, except that he didn't.
It can't be understated how good he is as a boxer and how much of a talent he is, Fabio said of Usyk. But ultimately, I have self-belief. I don't care who he is. At the bare bones of it, he's just the man across the ring with 2 arms, the same as me. Any man that steps in the ring with me, I can defeat.
Fabio Wardley likes his chances, and so does his mentor, Dillian Whyte.
Dillian saying, why not? Dillian Whyte thinks Fabio Wardley can knock out Oleksandr Usyk. Wardley may be the exact sort of challenge that could get Usyk interested. The 38-year-old Ukrainian has been a bit coy about his career plans following July's dominant win over Daniel Dubois, but Wardley has the sort of momentum and buzz that might make for a big money, big interest bout. Wardley's mentor and manager, Dillian Whyte, believes the rising contender can do to Usyk what he's done to others. Why not? He's a danger man all the way through, and he carries power, Whyte said. He shows when he gets guys hurt, he can finish. So, why can't he? He came and sparred just the way he moved, how awkward he was like an elastic band, his punch power, and the way he moves, said Whyte. I just had a vibe from him. Me and him gelled. I told him, I said, bro, you have something special. I'm just glad that he's proven it to himself and showed it to the world now. But I already knew this from Fabio a long time ago. So Fabio likes his chances, and Dillian does too, but what's the reality of it? The reality of it is, any chance that Fabio has can be relegated to a puncher's chance. He's got a puncher's chance, like what he had with Frazier Clark and what he just had with Joseph Parker.
He has a puncher's chance with Usyk. That's the most that you can give him. And even if it's worked for him so far, Frazier Clark is no Oleksandr Usyk, Joseph Parker is no Oleksandr Usyk. It may seem a redundancy to mull over all the experience that Usyk has over Fabio, like what we just did with Joseph and Fabio.
Seem a redundancy because in spite of all of that, Fabio still won. So can we count him out of an Usyk fight?
Usyk is getting older after all.
He is, but he isn't showing any signs of slowing down, and it really looks like he's grown into the division, grown into the weight class the way that he stopped Daniel Dubois in his last fight. Could Fabio stop Usyk? Maybe, but Usyk might stop him. In the heavyweight division, anybody can stop almost anybody else if they get in clean. Though looking at it, Usyk is a better judge of distance than Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley. He's a master at that.
Usyk is lighter on his feet than they are too. I think he's got a better engine than the both of them. Joseph Parker came in at a reported 262 pounds for the Fabio Wardley fight, and as the fight progressed, you saw that he started to slow down and started to tire, where Usyk characteristically, as a fight progresses, he actually picks up the pace. Hovering at around 221, 224, he's a lot leaner than Joseph Parker,
to where I don't think he will tire the way that Joseph Parker did.
So in spite of Fabio Wardley consistently beating the odds and defying logic, Usyk would still be the favorite.
I'd still pick him to win.